Hello and welcome to Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And today you're going to want to look away.
Oh, snap. Or just turn it off.
Turn it off. You do not want to listen to this podcast.
As any sane person should.
Yes. We're going to talk about a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah. All 3 seasons, sort of. Right?
The Netflix. Well, we'll talk about the movie too.
Yeah. But mostly focused on the Netflix series that just was released beginning of January. I just finished it on Saturday.
Excellent. I watched it on the 3rd, I think. I watched it in one day.
Nice.
Yes. Okay, so, cards on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read the books?
No.
Have you read any of the books?
None.
Okay, I think I've read 3 of them.
I was going to ask how many of you read. Okay.
Have you seen the Jim Carrey movie?
Yeah, once, but like I was saying just before I started recording, not the best viewing experience. I think it was on TV, so there might have been commercials and etc. So, didn't get a full...
believe I watched it in theaters because I was working there at the time.
Yeah.
And then I think I've seen it on TV since.
Yeah.
Okay. And Netflix. Did you watch the whole series?
Oh, of course. But I watched season 1 like when it first was released, and I didn't watch season 2
until recently.
Until just now when I was prepping for this. I watched 2, 3 back to back.
I watched them all when they were released.
Yeah.
It was on my Netflix radar. Like there's some stuff that I don't watch when it first comes out, but like series of unfortunate events, BoJack. What's the one called that I like? Holistic Detective?
Oh,
Dirk Gently.
Dirk Gently,
yeah. Like those ones I all watch. I get excited.
Yeah.
I know the release date, and I watch them when they come out.
Well, and it was interesting because season 1 to 2 there was like a time gap, but it seems like they made 2 and 3 either together or like back to back essentially.
They did make them back to back. I know that's because it was filmed in Vancouver and they bought a bunch of costumes from us.
Yeah, it just seemed that way because the story and as well as like the actors, there was no real change there, whereas I like the joke in season 2 at the beginning, they're like, we feel like we've been waiting on this bench for months. And they make a joke about how the baby looks older because it does.
Because it does,
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking about costumes really quick.
Yeah.
There's the scene, the first episode of season 3.
Yes.
When they're on the mountaintop and the 2 twin ladies leave.
Yes.
Their boots are from Venus and Mars.
Oh.
I remember when those were purchased because they bought every size we had because we didn't have any doubles, and generally with like film and TV, they want doubles or triples or whatever,
right? Something could go wrong or whatever.
Yeah. So they bought every size we had.
Oh, nice.
In every color because they were like, we'll just paint them.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fair, yeah.
So a little bit of
That's crazy because, of course, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was the costumes.
Oh my god. I don't even know where to start because this is like a gorgeous show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything, it's in the notes, but I think we just quickly run through the gamut here of like, what is the series of unfortunate events?
Okay, should I or do you want to?
Well,
I bet I can summarize it faster.
Sure.
So the series of unfortunate events is about the Baudelaire orphans.
Yes.
At the start of the book, at the start of the show, they learn that their parents have died in a fire.
Yes.
Throughout the series, they are passed from different guardians, and they are hunted by Count Olaf, who is trying to get the Baudelaire fortune through a series of
schemes
and bad costumes. And then each guardian that they go to, they learn a little bit more about their parents and their relationships to each guardian, and this secret society called the VFD, which stands for the Volunteer Fire Department.
Yeah.
But it's a metaphorical fire department because they put out
metaphorical
fires.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a spoiler.
Sure, yeah, you don't learn that till near the end.
Near the end, yeah. And as they go, they get themselves out of jams because every adult that they come across is highly incompetent.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That is the series of unfortunate events.
It's narrated by Lemony Snicket, who is the pen name of the actual author. Can't remember his name.
That's what I was going to ask, because it always says, like, on the credits, like, written by Lemony Snicket. And I was like, is that an actual name? Or
No, that's his pen name. His real name is, like, Martin Martinson.
Fair enough, It worked for me. I was like, that's another level of immersion.
No, it's great. And Patrick
Warburton, I believe.
Warburton.
Yes.
Plays Lemony Snicket, and he does a great job. And it's like
does an amazing job.
Great little side story of him like evading the police and like following them, and you're like, it's so good.
Yeah, because he tells the tale of the Baudelaires as we watch it.
He's writing it down as you're watching it, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good summary?
Sure, yeah. I mean, obviously it's very condensed because there's 3 seasons worth.
I'm not going to go through episode by episode.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that as well. But basically when it all kind of culminates, so Neil Patrick Harris plays Count Olaf.
And he's great.
He is amazing.
I think he might be one of the producers as well.
I believe he is, yes.
Because he wanted to... correct me if I'm wrong, the internet.
Yeah.
But I think he really wanted to have this made for a long time.
Yeah, I think he was championing it and got it made, essentially. And he was amazing. I've seen, of course, some Neil Patrick Harris stuff when he was on How I Met Your Mother and like some other stuff like that, which they made a great How I Met Your Mother joke in season 2. I really like that. Or it was 2, I think it was, when he and Esme are talking, and then she says something like, "Oh, blah blah blah," like a regular gig, and he's like, "I tried that for 7 years."
Oh, yeah.
Did that work out? But he was amazing. When he was comedic, he was awesome. When he was menacing, he was awesome. When he was doing a musical number, it was awesome. His costume was amazing.
I cried at the end. I don't know if you did or not.
I didn't cry, but I was a little like, oh, way to go, Oldie.
Yeah.
You find out what happens, of course, through the VFD and everything like that. But yeah, he was incredible. The entire series.
He was. I can't think of any. I can't think of anyone that was miscast.
No.
In this.
Cast was great.
In this. Like, every single actor in it was very good at what they did.
Yeah.
And it was star-studded.
Yeah, no, I got cast those tears.
There is what's that actress that was the mom in Home Alone?
Oh, Catherine O'Hara, I think.
Yeah, she's in it. Yeah. Buster from Arrested Development is in it.
Yeah.
Like, everyone you could ever want.
Yeah, there was a lot of people in it that were recognizable names and faces. That it wasn't, even if I didn't know their name, I was like, I've seen this guy in other work. Mm-hmm. And they did a great job in the show. And the show, not only the casting, but it must be also the directing and the writing, that just like these actors were able, because the whole show, and again, this goes back to Neil Patrick Harris, is everything is like larger than life, and like, especially because it's written from the point of view of viewpoint of the children.
Yeah.
So everything is larger than life and bombastic, and like Neil Patrick Harris is over the top, but like purposefully.
Yeah.
And like I said, everything, all the lines that he delivers, especially when he's being menacing, he's like, "Listen here, Baudelaire orphans," and it's just like, whoa,
yeah.
Like right in the camera every time. It's just like, I just loved it.
So you haven't read the books, but the show also did a very good job of translating the tone of the books to the tone of the show.
Yeah.
And like, one thing that the books do a lot is explain the meaning of words.
Sure.
Which the show does too, and it's never obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's a thing that could get old really fast, but the way that they do it, it doesn't.
And I like they made a joke about it.
And they make a joke about it.
In the 3rd season.
Yeah.
They're like, Lemoney's doing it again. So he's defining words.
Well, because you have to remember that these books are made for kids.
Yeah.
And so it's a cool way to teach kids new words.
Yeah, and
because they'll be like, I don't know, what's a word? Malcontent.
Sure.
They'll be like, malcontent, a word that in this situation means upset or whatever, right?
Or they do something with like the red herring. He's like talks about the different meanings of red herring. Not just a small fish. I was gonna say, because like I said, there was a gap between I watched from season 1 and then watched 2, 3, and like I said, the tone, like I didn't remember, or was just season 2 just darker. And maybe
season 2 was super dark.
Okay, yeah. Then season 1.
I felt like the show progressed and got better as it went, but I think season 2 was my favorite, and everything that happened at the school.
Yeah, you were mentioning
was my favorite. Like, it got me right in my funny bone.
Right. Like, well, and it was in my notes. I love Carmelita.
Oh my god.
Carmelita Spatz was hilarious.
I've just been calling people cake sniffers.
Look at these cake sniffers all cake sniffing over here.
Did you say, I thought I smelled orphans.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. I love Carmelita.
Yeah.
But like
when they brought her back in season 3, I was
so
like,
happy.
yes.
Yeah. But like in season 2, when at the school, this is, I don't know, I think this is the funniest thing ever. Their mascot is a dead horse, and their chant is "What can't be beat? A dead horse."
Well, and their like school motto, Memento Mori.
Remember you'll die.
Remember you'll die. Like, this is some nice watch stuff right here.
Like, I love it.
And I was gonna say that his disguise was probably one of my favorite ones.
When he was the gym teacher?
When he was Coach Khan, and he's wearing the velvet tracksuit with a turban, and he has the mic always on.
Oh my god,
and he's always telling stories like a motivational speaker. These 3 came to me, and I told them. And it's just like, oh my, I just couldn't stop laughing every time.
I know, it's so good. And I liked the librarian too. She was good too. It's kind of like a side character.
Yeah, she comes back, of course, later in the season.
And dies.
Like everyone else.
Like everybody.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite guardian?
Ooh.
Or if you had to pick one. I think mine's the school, obviously.
Yeah, you really did enjoy the school.
I think, man, everything about the school. The fact that they put them in a shed.
Yes.
In the back.
The orphan shack.
The orphan shack.
Yeah.
So good.
And then the other orphans get upgraded to the broom closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know about that. I didn't really think about it too much.
No?
Yeah.
Was there an episode that like stuck out for you as being a favorite, or?
Well, like I said, I really liked the Coach Khan stuff.
Yeah,
was
so you
really
like the
good.
school stuff
The school stuff was pretty great. I really did enjoy. I don't know. There was just so many things I did enjoy in the overall that nothing was really like. Oh, that was like my favorite episode, almost in a sense, because the story is so linearly told and blended together that it all kind of. It's serialized in that.
What was the bird town called?
The VFD, the Village of Foul Devotees.
Right, yeah.
Which I did like. So there was one thing I had a note about the Village of Foul Devotees, but...
I liked Nathan Fillion.
Yes, I figured, and he was great as Jacques.
Yeah, as Jacques Snicket.
Why does he have a French accent when his family doesn't?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so great.
Yeah.
I just love the Snickets.
Yeah.
Kit Snicket was cool too.
Yeah, I was curious when I was like, wait, who is this person here?
Yeah.
And as you learn later, it's his sister.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back on track.
Sure, well, I'll say I had
What do you have in your notes, Dan?
Well,
tell us about your notes.
I have some notes here. So season 2, we kind of touched on it. Like I said, the Coach Con at the beginning was awesome. Mm-hmm. When they go to the, what is it called, like Dark Road?
Yeah, because...
And they live in a penthouse.
Yep, and the elevator is broken because
it's not in.
Because it's not in.
Yeah, it's not in to use an elevator.
Oh, I love Esme too.
And then that's when you get introduced to Buster and Esme.
Yeah.
And I loved his reveal when he's behind the curtain. It's just some classic villainy. Hello, Baudelaire. And they go to that salmon restaurant and eat a 46 course salmon meal.
I forgot about Larry, your waiter.
Larry, your waiter.
Such a good character. I was sad when he died.
Yeah, and it's just he's so funny as a reoccurring character because he's always just showing up like being
as a waiter.
And everyone, like Mr. Poe especially, is like, hey, I've had that waiter before.
You look familiar.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And they have this 46 course salmon meal. And
it's called salmonella or something?
Yeah, the restaurant's called salmonella.
Oh man, that was all in season 2, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And then, of course, Jacques Snicket.
Yeah.
We get introduced to. Here's one thing I had a slight... So the Quagmires are the other orphans. Also, their parents died in a fire. There were triplets, but one also died in a fire.
Just to touch on this quick, not to interrupt your train of thought.
Yeah.
But season 1 gives you some really great misdirect where you think that the Baudelaire's parents are still alive, and then it turns out that they're the Quagmire's parents. And
are they the Quagmire's parents?
Yeah.
Colby Smulders and Will Arnett?
Yeah.
I didn't.
And then they die in a fire.
They died in another fire? No, because at the end of season 1, remember they opened the door to like the sawmill or whatever, and then it just cuts with Patrick Warburton, and he's like, just don't look if you think this is going to be like good for the Baudelaires or whatever. I always just assumed they were another set of kids' parents, but
no, I thought that Colby and Will were the. Now I have to rewatch season 1, but I thought they were the Quagmire's parents because it was another family with 3 kids that died. That there was a fire.
They
right?
mentioned. Okay, yeah. So they kind of jumped around.
That's what I thought.
Okay,
so I thought we were getting the Quagmire's backstory in a very clever way.
Yes.
Well,
okay, yeah, that's fair.
Unless that's just me making shows more clever than they actually are.
No, you're probably totally right. I probably just misinterpreted the timelines essentially because they do show lots of scenes of them trying to get back and like we have to get back to our family, and then they eventually do die. So okay, I can see that.
That's some good misdirect. It's good Quagmire backstory.
Because the Quagmires get kidnapped from the school, and the Baudelaires are trying to help them and trying to find them, and they get stashed in that crow statue / fountain, and I was like, they have to use clever methods to like get messages out. I'm like, couldn't you just
poetry, right?
Couldn't you just yell it's like open faced, so or like bang on it to like make the crows fly?
They obviously spend too much time with adults because adults are stupid.
That's true. Adults are pretty dumb in this. And then we move on from there when they go to a hospital. I did really love Klaus dressed up as a doctor. And then he meets Olaf, and they both know they're not doctors, and they're trying to just pretend. They're like, oh, well, I need to go see a patient. He's like, well, do you have a patient list? He's like, well, I lost it. He's like, you shouldn't have lost. And they just do this great back and forth. I really loved that. That was really great. And Klaus as the doctor there was really awesome. Of course, the fortune teller, as the librarian as the fortune teller. She was all over the top. And the freaks. The circus freaks. My favorite circus freak here, it's like the ambidextrous guy. Yeah. Oh my god. Just hilarious. So the circus freaks.
So funny.
Yeah, one has a hump and one's a contortionist. She doesn't look weird, she's just a contortionist.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy, he's totally like handsome man and got the mustache and everything. He's like offering them popcorn. He's like, as you notice, with both my hands like a freak. Because they make a few lines. They're like, do people marvel at your handsome jawline?
Oh my god.
So that was pretty hilarious with them. And then of course the lion pit was pretty intense. I love the musical number that they do, the Welcome to the House of Freaks.
Yeah.
And then how season 2 ended on like a literal cliffhanger.
Yes, because the caravan was going to go over the edge.
Yes.
But it doesn't.
But it does. Well, it does.
Well, it does, but they get out. But yeah. It doesn't. They turn it in time and then it goes off a different cliff. Yeah. Technically. If you want to get technical.
That's fair, yeah. But yeah, season 2, there was so much in there that was great to like, and just so many details. I didn't expect Nathan Fillion to show up, like I said, with the star-studded cast, and it was just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, let's talk more about season 3, because that's the one I remember.
As the one more recently. And then, of course, as Devin mentioned, Esme Squalor, who was Buster's wife, joins with
Olaf. His girlfriend.
His girlfriend, yeah.
And later we find out they know each other from their VFD days.
Yes, and because she's like, he's always like, I gotta get the Baudelaire fortune, and she's like, honey, I'm rich, it doesn't matter.
She's like, I need that sugar bowl.
She's after the sugar bowl.
To complete my tea set.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole time she's like, and she's always, because she's really all about the fashion and what's in and what's out. Oh my God, every time they're like in a new situation, she has a new outfit.
Oh my God, I died when they were on the submarine, and she came out in a tentacle, like,
latex onesie.
I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Oh. And then, she's even trying to walk through like doors and getting stuck.
Can't. She's getting stuck.
Or when she's going up the ladder at the end of it, she's totally stuck.
Oh man, her fashion in it is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. So season 3, of course, with some of my notes. So Carmelita coming back, which I mentioned. They run into the Snow Scouts.
And they kill all of the... Oh, no, they don't. But the Snow Scouts' parents all die. And
eventually, yes.
Esme decides to adopt Carmelita.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, it's kind of like, oh, should we just use her because they're using her? And then they reveal later because Count's like, why do we still have her around? It's like, we killed her parents in a fire.
We also get new baddies, which is the man with no hair but a beard, and the woman with no beard but hair.
But has hair, yeah. And it's like literally like her hair is
like
wouldn't be a facial beard.
Mustache curl and oh my god. Yeah. Those character designs, I was just like, they look so good. Yeah. I loved her like beehive and their little glasses and their like long coats and everything.
Well, and just the way he spoke too, the Olaf or whatever. Yeah. Just like, we taught you so much more. And they're talking about burning people and setting fires. And then the Snow Scout stuff was hilarious because there's just like the one woman adult taking care of them and she's carrying all her luggage. like climbing up the mountain, and so Carmelita could be Snow Queen.
Snow Queen, yeah.
Well, it's democratic. No.
They do things the way we've always done things.
Yeah. Well, and always Carmelita's always like, she'll name a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And she's just like tap dancing queen.
They're like amazing. Their motto for like a
yeah.
And then it goes on for like 20 adjectives.
Yeah. It's like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's good.
And then Klaus is like, how can a snow person be a xylophone?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, cake sniffers. So then they get off the mountains, and then they end up in the submarine.
Oh, so just a side note.
Yes.
When they're in the mountains, Olaf's crew leaves him except for Hooky Hands.
Yes.
I love Olaf's crew.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
The person of indeterminate gender is great.
He's always like, or he or she, so he always has the moral like quandary in mind.
Yeah, and like just says like the smartest stuff, but in like the most monotone, flat voice. Yeah. And then there's the women that are twins, who's wearing shoes from Via. Yeah. And then the guy that loves Esme, the big guy. Yeah. And then the guy with the hooks, and the guy with the hooks ends up befriending Sunny Baudelaire. Yes. Which was so funny when Lemony is explaining Stockholm syndrome. Yes. And then he's like, this is like reverse Stockholm syndrome where the captor has fallen in love with the captain.
They call it Mount Frotz syndrome.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I love the scene when they make breakfast and they make like salmon sashimi and like sorbet, and he's like, I wanted it cooked. This is obviously baby's trying to poison us.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Well, and then that scene, of course, we get a big reveal that one of the Quagmire triplets is alive.
Yes.
Because earlier in season 2, we learned that there was a survivor of the fire, and they always assume it's maybe one of the Baudelaire parents.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
It was not. It was
the Quagmire
triplet.
Yeah. That everyone keeps calling. Was it that they called them triplets, and then they would?
No, they would always say the Quagmire twins, and they'd be like, no, we're triplets.
Triplets, right.
But they're like, one died in a fire, so you're twins now.
Right.
But yeah, we find out one's alive.
Yes.
And then they do some schemes and try to get some stuff. They try to rescue Sunny, which eventually they do, of course.
Yeah. But anyways, they end up on a submarine.
They end up on a submarine.
And then Olaf, Esme, and Carmelita also rent a submarine, and it's like a fucking steampunk octopus.
It's straight out of like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah, it was amazing. Just, with some shows on Netflix that are Netflix made, you watch it like Arrested Development, for example, and you know that everything is a green screen, and because the actors weren't available to film at the same time. Right. And it's like weird because you're watching it and you're like, well, this is obviously a body double, this is blah, blah, blah. This show had excellent use of green screen. Sure, yeah. Because you couldn't do a lot of the stuff that they did for a reasonable budget without one. Right. But they blended it well.
Yeah, and I was going to say, that was one of my notes as well, is that like all the set design and
it was
amazing.
So
good and so well put together.
Yeah.
And I don't know all the locations that they shot in. I know it was filmed in Vancouver primarily, as well as other areas. It had to be, but
mostly Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, because you can get everything around here, so it's like they did a great job finding and scouting the right locations to make stuff.
For sure.
Because the sub looked excellent.
Both submarines looked excellent.
Yeah, both.
And I loved how like the submarine that the Baudelaires were on had that very like orangey red bronze color scheme, and then the submarine that Olaf and Esme were on was very dark and like
greasy.
Yeah.
Well, and they had the captured snow scouts in there rowing.
Oh, rowing, that's right, I forgot that.
Which I was like, wait, what?
That's hilarious.
And then they have that one dude that they capture who's all like optimistic and
oh yeah.
and his leg got bitten off and he's all like that was pretty good. Well, and then basically,
and then we're introduced to the mold.
To the mold, the Medusa mycelium, I think it's called, right?
Yeah.
My notes just are more meta stuff because the last 3 episodes are pretty intense, and that's when everything goes down.
Yes. So the Medusa mycelium is a mold that will basically kill you in an hour.
Within an hour, and it spreads very quickly, and it waxes and wanes, is what they say.
Yes. And it's revealed.
And we learned. Oh, yes.
Oh, can I say?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So the cure for it, or the antidote?
One of the cures, or an antidote for it,
is horseradish.
Yes.
But to like immunize yourself from it, they had created a sugar.
Yes.
Which is in the sugar bowl.
Yes.
Which actually tastes bitter. So that's why everybody's been after the sugar bowl, which you haven't mentioned, but that's kind of a side plot.
Yeah, well, it's kind of just, I guess, more focused with Esme, who's always like, we gotta get the sugar bowl, but we're never told why.
Right, yeah.
Because it's mentioned, I think, in season 1, like, a couple times, but it's not really like, oh, there was a sugar bowl that someone's after. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's always been about the Baudelaire fortune.
Exactly.
But then, Esme's like, I gotta get my sugar bowl back, because it was hers at one point.
Well, because it completes her tea set. But everyone else in the VFD is after it because it's the
cure.
The immunization.
Right, sorry.
For the Medusa mycelium.
Which we also learned was created by a VFD scientist.
Yes.
Right.
And that Hookie was one of the scientists that worked with him, and he fired up.
Yeah, he burned down the lab.
He burned down the lab because he didn't think it was right for that to exist.
Yeah, and that's when he lost his hands as well.
Yes. Apparently in the books you don't get a specific reason how he lost his hands, but
shown in the show that like flaming log hits him or whatever, kind of loses his hands.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because with the sub captain, I was like, Rick, right away, I was like, that's Hookie's sister because she keeps on mentioning a stepdad.
Oh, I didn't get that.
And then he goes and he's like, oh, I didn't find anything, and I was like, confirmed.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to that. And then I like that. Just on a side note, I like that you never find out what the great unknown is.
Yeah, it's just always shown with like a big eye and some tentacles.
Tentacles and
very Cthulhu-esque.
So the Hotel Denouement.
Yes.
I actually loved everything that happened there.
It was pretty great.
I loved that there was 2 brothers, and then a third brother.
You get the clever reveal.
Who are like identical triplets. And one is Frank, and he's friendly, and the other is Ernest, and he's evil.
Yeah.
And then there's Dewey.
Yeah.
And I wish that we got to spend more time learning about how the hotel was actually like a library of all their secrets.
Yeah.
And if I was writing my fan fiction, the hotel wouldn't have burnt down, the Baudelaires would have taken over the library.
Well, the books are safe though, because they're underwater, right?
They're underwater?
Yeah, that was the whole scene that he takes the Baudelaires on a tour and then shows them where the library is, and it's like in an underwater facility that he falls into when he dies.
I thought that was I thought we were just getting a reflection of the hotel.
No,
Does he specifically?
Yeah, he says specifically that he's like, even if the hotel burns, the books will be safe.
Huh. Missed that.
Oh, that's alright.
I was sad when he died, though.
Yeah, well, and of course his name's Dewey, and he's a librarian. Yeah. Classic.
It's great. I love that the rooms are according to like people get assigned to rooms because it's part of the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's very weird.
And how do they find him? Like they find the library because they figure out that
one of the rooms one of the numbers is missing from the wall.
The room for mysteries, right?
It's 135.
135.
Yeah.
I think it was for mystery.
Yeah, and they press it on the elevator.
And then they end up down there, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And they loved sorry, I'm going to go on
for a minute. Continue, yeah.
I loved when they got to the hotel and they were disguised as bellhops, or as concierges.
Concierges,
sorry.
Yeah.
And they're talking, like, we get scenes of them going to 3 different rooms.
Yeah.
And you it starts out with you seeing all 3 at the same time, and then you get them kind of one at a time.
Yeah.
And they're just, I don't know, I just really liked the way that was laid out.
And the way it was executed was really good as well.
Yeah.
Because Lemony Snicket comes and he's like, well, people can't be in 3 places at once, but he's like, but if you're streaming, you can.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it splits the times.
And then it ties it all together because the clock makes a noise that sounds like wrong when it rings. And so we get the Baudelaires interacting with one of the twins.
And it strikes at 3.
At 3.
Yeah.
All at the same time, but like different interactions.
And, well, no, and like the Baudelaire lines are always the same.
Yeah.
The twins are getting them to do, or the triplets are getting them to do a different thing.
A different task.
And they're always like, well, can I trust you? And it's like, if I can trust you.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but what's weird about that is that it's like all 3 of the things work in concert, but one of them was trying not to.
Yeah, so basically the managers are setting it up so that they can trap the sugar bowl when the crows deliver it.
Yes.
And so...
Well, I guess Ernest would know that it would be down there, maybe, so...
Yeah. So... So they put like sticky paper out.
Yeah.
They get a harpoon gun for Carmelita to shoot the bird, and then Sunny puts a lock
on the laundry.
Because
it looks like a laundry chute.
And that was the decoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't know who each of the Baudelaires were talking to.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great
If I had
reveal.
to guess, I think it would be Frank. No, Ernest was talking to Violet.
Giving the gun? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would guess as well.
Frank was talking to Klaus, and Dewey was talking to Sunny.
Right.
So Dewey's like, let's...
Yeah. That's what I would surmise as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, who would give Carmelita Spatz a spear gun?
I would. Yeah. So then Justice Strauss shows up again.
Yeah, which was an interesting... I was not expecting that. Because the point...
Played by Joan Cusack. Yeah. How could you not love that?
Because the reason they go to the hotel and the reason they're in disguise is because they're trying to find out who's sending messages to like other people out there by the initials JS.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it Jacques Snicket, who they know is dead, but Olaf, of course, impersonates him at one point, which was hilarious.
Is it Jacqueline blah, blah, blah?
Yeah. Which I want to ask
former
about.
Secretary of...
Yeah, I guess if you haven't read them all either, because what happens to Jacqueline? Because she gets captured, her and Larry get captured in the village of VFD, but then Larry shows up again and Jacqueline's gone.
She probably died.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
So...
If we learned anything from these books, adults are incompetent and everyone dies.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. So Justice Strauss shows up, sorry.
Justice Strauss shows up, turns out she's been sending... Oh, because also the hotel is full of characters that we've already met.
Yeah, VFD people and previous Guardians and everything.
And she reveals...
Olaf is there, of course.
That she wants to take the orphans home with her, that she's going to do a big trial, and that they're going to prove Olaf is guilty, and blah, 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 blah. And then they have the trial, and it's... Oh, and Dewey dies at one point, but then they have the trial.
Yes, the big trial.
So good. Because if this show and the books point out anything, it's that following rules for the sake of following rules is really stupid. And the setup is that because Justice is blind, everyone has to wear a blindfold to
the court, essentially.
To the trial.
Yeah.
So they're all wandering around the hotel with they're all doing the Bird Box challenge. So they wandering around the hotel, and then when the trial starts, they're like, "Oh, you can take the blindfolds off because evidence needs to be seen or something like that."
Yeah.
Oh my god, this show's so funny.
One thing that kind of was like when she's like, "Oh, my fellow high justices are up there," and I was like, "Oh, I knew who they were."
You knew who they were. Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, "Oh, that could have been maybe more cleverly done," but what are they gonna do? Because they cut to.
Although it does add tension because you're watching the whole thing and you know that whoever's up there is not gonna be in favor of Baudelaire.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then, but yeah, like Olaf's all like comfortable, and I just love because they get up there and they tell their story, and all the adults are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that was going on. You didn't tell us," and it was like, "Oh my god, like, are we supposed to hate Poe? Is that the angle here?"
Poor Poe, I think it's just like he's just so oblivious to everything.
Yeah.
It's even like when Kit becomes his secretary.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, don't work for you."
I'm not your secretary, I don't work for you.
Yeah.
He keeps asking her to do
He still calls her Jacqueline. He's like, "Jacqueline, can you do this for me?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they tell their story, and then they're all like, "Oh man, it's so shocking, blah, blah, blah." And Justice Strauss is like, "Well, we can deliberate off that." And Klaus is like, "No, something's going to go wrong." So they call Olaf as a witness.
Yeah.
And I just love this whole turnaround and the whole section of it, because this really is what, like, the show...
Yeah.
Like, this is the gray right here.
But do you love how Olaf wants to sing it first?
Yes.
Let him?
There's even a piano.
Yeah.
And he's like...
So good. Okay, so anyways, continue.
No, I was just saying that this was a great turnaround with Olaf talking to all of these characters and the Baudelaires, because he's like, "Look, all these people screwed you over the entirety of this whole misadventure." Plus, he shows how the Baudelaires did anything they could to try to, like, get out of their situation, prove that Olaf is this, using underhanded methods, the same as Olaf.
Yeah.
So, I just loved that. The whole turnaround on the court was just great.
Oh no, it was great, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a series of events happens. Well, I'm not going to go through it all.
Sure.
And they end up burning down the hotel.
Yes.
On the recommendation of Sonny Baudelaire.
Yeah.
And escaping.
Which I love that scene where he's like, "My parenting, it was working. I got through to one of them." And they end up escaping, yes. Sorry.
They end up escaping. I love when they're taking the elevator up to the roof.
Yeah. And they stop at every floor.
Each floor they stop at, they're trying to, like, get someone to help them.
Or leave the building because they're like, "It's on fire."
It's on fire, get out, right? And then, like, all the adults are so fucking oblivious.
Yeah. Well, and then because the Olaf's point was that how the Baudelaires are all liars and everything, because they stop at the one floor and he's like, "They're just lying. They're just trying to trick you again."
Was it the floor that was it Buster and Poe?
Yeah.
And then
they're still blindfolded.
They're still blindfolded. They put their blindfolds back on.
Yeah. And they're wandering around.
And they at one point, Lemony Snicket references that a joke about an elephant where 5 people look at an elephant and one's like, "Oh, it's a snake," because he's looking at the trunk, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
I love that there's a statue of an elephant and Poe keeps running into it and holding the trunk and being like, "Oh, I love the sculpture of the snake."
Yeah. I like that.
To hammer that point home.
Yes, I very much like that as well.
Yeah.
And then yes, they escape on the roof.
On the roof with the boat
And with a sample of the Medusa mycelium still.
Correct.
Because they were revealed later. There's a scene earlier where Esme, Olaf breaks up with Esme, and she's like, "I'm gonna get my revenge."
Oh,
and they're making sausages.
Yeah.
And then
you think that they're making
poison sausages.
The poison sausages.
Everyone eats them, and they're all like, "Ah!" Start coughing, and all the Baudelaires are like, "Oh no!" And she's like, "Ha ha! An excess of pepper."
I didn't it was made out of crow meat. That was her big revenge, is that she was gonna make them eat crow.
Yeah.
Literally. So good.
So yeah, they escape on the boat.
Yes.
Using a clever violet parachute.
Yes.
Which they do a few times in the show.
Every time she ties up her hair, she's got an invention.
No, I mean just a parachute invention.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's okay.
It's okay.
So they end up on an island.
Yeah. they're caught up in a storm and they're shipwrecked on an island. See, because this was something I was going to ask, and since I thought you had read the entire series, was this ending canon? Was this what the guy wrote?
Okay, no.
Oh, okay.
So there is an island.
Mm-hmm.
This is the differences from what I've been able to tell from videos. Because I looked this up.
Yeah, because I didn't look it up, because I was like, oh, Devin will know the answer.
So the guy on the island is not in the books.
In the books, okay. Not the principal?
The principal. He was a teacher, and he didn't form the VFD. He was a member.
Okay. Yeah.
And as far as I could tell, the Baudelaire's parents ended up there first.
Oh.
And he came later. And then...
Didn't leave with them, essentially, when they left?
Well, I believe that he got everyone to convince him to leave.
Oh.
Like, they were not wanted there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even darker.
and it was like... A lot more happened on the island than...
Right. Well, the show, because they only spend the one episode on the island, so it's like it's condensed it down, I assume then, okay.
And I believe that the books end with the Baudelaires and Kit's baby pushing the boat off the island.
Sure. Well, and that's pretty much the end of the show.
No, we don't know if they survived going back to land.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean, is kind of like... Beatrice makes it, but fine. But it was like but like Olaf's death was the same situation with them. They do some mycelium and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. With the books, it ends there. But there is another book after the series of unfortunate events that's called Letters from Beatrice, and that's where they kind of took that inspiration that Beatrice Baudelaire tracked down Lemony Snicket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I liked that I was like, okay, they got out of there, and then she starts referencing like other adventures, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like more mishaps happened, but they weren't related anymore to Olaf. Right? Yeah, exactly. And that's fine that we don't see them.
But I know Olaf dies.
Okay. Yeah. That was my curiosity. I was curious.
Kit dies.
And Kit dies. Okay, that's what I was like, is this canon? Is this what the guy wrote? Because not that again, maybe just because of it was not rushed, but it was just compacted down. Where I was like, this seems maybe they were just trying to finish something, but the ending was very satisfactory. I'm not disappointed.
Sure. Oh no, I really liked it. Yeah.
So I was just curious about what was going on there.
I know that it's a complete set, but I enjoyed it so much that I'm like, man, if they made stuff about the Baudelaire's adventures post Olaf, I would totally watch it. Or if they made a Beatrice series, I would watch it. Yeah.
Well, and of course I really liked it because they get to the island, and that's the point as well when they escape from the hotel, is that they're like, we have to use Olaf essentially, and then they get to the island and they're like, the only person that could probably help us is Olaf.
Yeah.
And it's like everything that's happened and all the villainy, and even in season 2 when the Baudelaires essentially almost go on the offensive essentially, when they hop in his trunk and then they're trying to figure him out. It's not anymore that they're as just getting chased down, right? So
no, they totally they start
they go on the offensive about we're getting it done now. All the adults have failed. It's time for the kids.
Surprise.
It's time for the kids to start doing some stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, as for my notes for season 3 was, I already spoke about. I really liked the court turnaround. That whole scene was great. Yeah. And just my last note is NPH excellent.
He was excellent.
Because there was
he was excellent, and Patrick Warburton was excellent. They were the two standouts for me. I mean, the kids were excellent too, but Patrick Warburton should narrate every show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
It's probably pretty close. It's if he's available.
I love watching him in his dingy hotel room, crawling up the window, packing up his suitcase. I just like all of it.
Yeah, no, all that stuff was so great. In fact, in the cast list, because I have one here, he's literally the second name.
Yeah, well, they tried to buy a vest for him from us.
Oh, really?
But all the
He's too
vests we
tall.
had were too short. Yeah.
He's too tall.
They're like, can you make one? I'm like, no.
Yeah, he's...
She showed me the measurements. I'm like, oh my god, he's a big dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was kind of my last notes about season 3 was just, again, like I was saying, just everything so excellent about it. It's unfortunate that it's over, but because one of my coworkers, I was telling her that I was like, oh, I was watching it, and she's like, oh my god, I love the show, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, I really hope they're going to make more. And I was like, I thought this was the last season. And then after watching the end, I was like, okay, I could see where they leave it open for further adventures. Just it would be Sans, Count Olaf, but that was like the main antagonism.
Yeah.
Right, so it wouldn't be the same show.
It wouldn't be the same.
And that'd be fine, but it might not tarnish the brand, but it would be like, oh, it's not the same, you know?
And they don't have any source material to go off anymore.
Right.
Whereas from what I could tell, they followed it pretty closely. Like, I mean, there's minor differences.
Well, I could see obviously being, like, the dialogue being updated or changed, you know, because there's, like I was saying, there's a lot of meta jokes and these things like that. So
but that's kind of like, you get that from the books, too. Like, I know, like, not necessarily jokes about Netflix or stuff like that, but it has that same tone to the books.
Yeah.
Like, I would recommend reading them. They're short.
Well, this was going to be one of my questions was, as someone who hasn't read them.
I was actually thinking that I should read, like, I read the first couple, but I was kind of, like, I think you'd burn through them pretty quick. You could probably read a book a day if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that I was like, should I read these books? Because I really enjoyed the show, and I was like, maybe. But did the show do such a good job that it's like, it's not really worth.
No, I think you'd enjoy them still, from what I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, get ready for hate mail, Dan.
What? We don't want hate mail.
They are more interesting to read than Harry Potter.
Sure.
Take that, Rowling.
Oh, snap. Well,
and you know what else? He doesn't retcon everything afterwards. Ron's not in them.
he left his creation alone.
Yeah.
And just was
he did the letter from Beatrice afterwards.
Sure.
So I guess he could. But he doesn't retcon it on Twitter. Turns out, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really mind. I won't even finish that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No need to finish it. And I like
Dumbledore was gay.
Yeah, I liked the story's construction, and again, because I haven't read the books, but it was just like all the pieces like were so intricately fit together. Where it's like Lemony, his sister's here, and then he's like, oh, he goes and he meets the Baudelaires briefly, but he couldn't help them. He leaves, and then they do the voiceover where he's like, if I only could have helped him more that day, and you're like, oh man, it's just like.
Oh, and then Lemony, we didn't touch on this, but Lemony was in love with the Baudelaire's mother.
Beatrice, yes.
Beatrice. And every episode starts with a note to Beatrice.
Yes.
As does every book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every dedication page
is for
in
Beatrice.
the books is for Beatrice. Yeah.
And they're all like horrible.
They're
not horribly bad, but it's all things like, oh, you broke my heart, and then yours doesn't work anymore, or something like that.
What was one of them was, you were pretty and I was lonely, now I'm pretty lonely.
Yeah, exactly. All those kind of things. It's like, oh man.
Yeah. So let's compare the show to the movie.
Sure. I mean, briefly, if you want. I mean, the movie obviously doesn't cover.
I don't think Jude Law was as good as Lemony Snicket as Patrick.
Well, and I think they took a different.
Yeah, they
approach.
made him a sad guy that typewrites in a clock tower.
Yeah, it was a far different approach. I really much more enjoyed the Netflix one because it was like he was active in the story while telling you the story. Because like you said, you'd always show up and you'd be like at a snow cone scene and you'd have a snow cone. You know?
Yeah. Whereas the movie, Jude Law was playing Lemony Snicket more the way that, what's his name, Obi-Wan? What's the actor that plays Obi-Wan in the...
Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor plays his character in Moulin Rouge, where he's like, I'm sad writer man.
Sure. Yeah, so it was a different take on it there, but what's interesting from what I remember Jim Carrey's Olaf being very over the top and Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Which is like the role it seemed like, and like I said, Neil Patrick Harris was very over the top and.
So Jim Carrey's Olaf wasn't bad, but Neil Patrick Harris's Olaf was better.
Sure, and I would say Jim Carrey could get more because he's taller. So you do that lean over menacing, whereas...
For sure.
I mean, Neil Patrick Harris was doing that, of course, but...
The kids were interchangeable. They actually got kids that just looked like the kids from the show, from the movie.
Yeah, the girl there, her name is Wiseman. Yeah. Melina Wiseman? She looks so much like whatever her name is that played...
Girl from Sucker Punch.
Yeah, the girl from Sucker Punch, which I can't remember her name now.
I don't remember either.
But they looked very much similar look. Yeah. I don't remember because I think the Klaus in the movie was definitely a smaller child. Whereas this Klaus, he was like...
I think he was... Hang on. I'm gonna show you a picture.
Sure. And then baby is a baby.
Yeah, all babies look the same, except when they're ugly.
And then this one, they use some CGI on his face occasionally.
What's it called? Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yeah. So, I thought you were looking up Sucker Punch. Or you were talking about the movie version.
I'm looking at the movie version so that I can show you what Klaus looked like.
Oh, yes. I was going to say, there was one thing that was interesting, because through season 1 and 2 especially, no one understands the baby but the other Baudelaires.
Yes.
But in season 3, they altered her...
Not true.
Well, the Hookie.
Hookie understands baby when they're grumbling. Yeah. Grumbling.
But in season 3, they alter her dialogue to actual words.
Yes.
Which I just thought was kind of a weird thing. Anyway.
I think they needed to.
Oh.
See? He looks the same. They're all interchangeable.
Yeah, no, that's right. Well, Show Klaus has more well-done hair, let's say.
He's got glasses too, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I liked about the movie? Is that it had a weird... old-timey kids play feel, where it looked like some of the scenery was cut out like it would be a backdrop of the play. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Especially when they end up...
I'll say the house, doesn't it, on the cliff?
Yeah, the house that was over the water.
Yeah.
And when they're in the water, they almost do the waves it's cut out paper kind of just being moved in front of other cardboard paper, which is a cool effect, and I thought it looked neat.
Yeah, it gave it a neat style. I was gonna say, doesn't he also try to kill them on train tracks in the movie?
Yes.
And I don't remember that happening in the show, but again, I watched the show a couple years ago.
No, I think it happens in the first season. He locks them in a car when a train is coming.
Yeah. In the show that happened?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think that happened in the show. I don't remember that.
No.
Yeah, because I was...
And then they
get out, right? Obviously in the movie they get out, right? So.
Yeah. Doesn't at the end of the movie... he has to suffer all the same things that happened to...
I don't remember the movie.
I think so, because I remember Jim Carrey being locked in a car while a train was coming.
Well, and I can't remember, were they trying to do more with the movie? Did they want to do more films? Or did they only have Jim for the one thing, and then they were it's over? So that way they kind of... Maybe they added that to maybe wrap it up to be Olaf, it doesn't get away.
They wanted to do more, and it tanked.
Yeah, because it didn't do well at the box office.
Yeah, it did terrible. Mm-hmm. It was 2004 is when it came out, so it was in the middle. It was post Lord of the Rings, but during Harry Potter heyday, and I think that it got a bad review because people were expecting Harry Potter. It is not that.
It is definitely not that.
Although it probably ended up getting published because Harry Potter was popular.
Yeah, because you were saying that this was published around the 90s and around the same time as Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
Which I did not know that.
Keep talking.
No, I was going to say, it's interesting to think about it, because there were so many series... YA not YA, children at the time, YA is no more nowish, that were turned into movies to try to start franchises or just, obviously to make money because that's what Hollywood does, that's fine. But it's
the first one came out September 30th, 1999.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. I just assumed that it was far older than that. Huh.
And then I think the last one came out... No. Do what I say, Google! God damn it! Book 13. 2006. So he released 13 books in 7 years.
Well, it's possible. I mean, if they're that small.
Well, he probably had them all... Maybe he had them all written or something.
Well, I'd say if you have a good outline.
Yeah.
You just fill in the details on them.
it really, watching this show made me want to join a secret society.
Sure.
I don't think any of them would have me, though.
Well, I was saying you just gotta start your own, but not tell people. It's a secret.
That's right. Oh, let's start one. The Tome of Uselessness Secret Society.
Excellent.
TOUSS. Toos.
Nice. I mean, and of course the prop, spyglass.
Oh yeah.
Decoder, flashlight, etc. thing.
It's
super
great.
cool.
Yeah. No, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. They have secret hideouts. And costumes are great.
We did mention that.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
I was saying. I mean, I don't think there's anything more.
And all the characters really looked cool.
Yeah.
And they all had like a distinct look, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't really remember what happened, you can kind of remember the characters. Like, I remember very clearly what the optometrist, Catherine O'Hara, looks like, and Neil Patrick Harris in drag when he's being...
Well, and that's what I was to say as well. All his disguises are also unique.
So funny.
That are just, like, it's pretty crazy. And even just the Count Olaf makeup prosthetic that he's wearing is great the whole time. Right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I recommend it.
Absolutely.
Would you recommend it?
I have already recommended it to many people and would continue to.
Would you recommend it for children?
That's the weird part. Is it for children?
So I started watching a different show today. Actually, I finished it today, but there was only 6 episodes and they were like 20-minute episodes.
All right,
so don't
you bang that out pretty easy.
come for me. And it was called The Curious Creations of Catherine O'Connell?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Sure.
And it's very strange because it's a show for adults.
Yeah.
But it's like a spooky mystery dress up.
Really?
Yeah, like there's a woman who lives in a Victorian house with her friends, which is a reanimated raccoon corpse.
Sure, as you do.
Which is like a Muppet. A hairless cat that was a former god in Egypt. And a werewolf. And these are all, like, the werewolf I think is a guy in a costume, but the other two are puppets. And, like, she makes cakes and stuff, and it's kind of a DIY show.
Sure.
It's really cool. I totally recommend it. She's, like, this beautiful woman who dresses in 50s outfits and makes spooky stuff. So, obviously, I like it.
Yeah.
And she has puppets. And Dita Von Teese is in it as like a ghost that lives in her mirror.
Okay, yeah.
It's awesome.
Sure.
But again, it's one of those things that like you look at it and you're like, is this a kid's show? Is this for adults? Who is this for? I don't care. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say like little children would be into the show. And so much is in the dialogue that
I feel like if you're like 14 to 20, though, you're too cool for series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
What I was gonna say more like maybe.
I think it's made for people in their 30s.
Sure. I mean, that's a good audience to go for. There's a lot of us.
It's like, I don't know, like this other show that I was talking about, there's like a sincerity to it where it's not parroting a kid's show, it's just a kid's show for adults, and that's kind of, I would put them maybe not in the same book, but maybe on the same shelf.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like a little kid, no. Maybe a little older, like someone in elementary school who would also potentially read Harry Potter but doesn't want to read Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They could be into this.
Like a goth 8-year-old?
Yeah.
A smart goth 8-year-old.
Yeah, sure, but like it would be probably something that they would have to rewatch again as a young adult.
Yeah, it's probably be a thing that they would catch more jokes as an adult.
Yeah.
What did I watch? I recently watched something... Oh, you know what? I rewatched Clone High.
Nice.
Which I watched as an adult, but I caught way more jokes on this rewatch.
It's a great show.
It's on YouTube, actually.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah. But I was drawing yesterday and I just had it on in the background while I was drawing.
Nice.
And there's more jokes than I remembered.
Yeah, that was great stuff.
Or I understood more jokes, which like, I'm only 10 years older than when I first saw it, but apparently...
Well, maybe you were just more actively paying attention.
No, because I was drawing.
Your brain was. Oh man,
that
as
episode.
Mr. Plinkett likes to say, but your brain did. You may not have noticed, but your brain did.
That episode with Jack Black is my favorite.
Yes.
I'm the pusher!
The pusher! Yeah.
There was also
Love can't take down walls. It's an abstract concept.
there is so many quotes in it that are things that you say, but I forgot that there were quotes from Clone High too.
Oh, excellent. But yeah, to go back to your point, no, it's okay. Like, cause definitely adults will get a kick out of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know about a younger audience. Yeah, they might just, like you said, there would be a crowd that maybe is too cool.
I think it might be, because I feel like maybe like 10 to 14-year-olds is who the books were like originally written for.
Right.
But I feel like they'd be too cool to watch the Netflix.
Yeah.
But I feel like anything younger might find it scary.
Yeah, that's where the angle I was about to say, because I know Neil Patrick Harris has some children that he's adopted, him and his partner, right?
Yes.
And so it's like, was that a...
They were in an episode.
Oh, were they?
They were in the circus episode. They were the two kids that were watching it. And it was supposed to just be his daughter, but then his son was like upset that he wasn't part of it, so they split the lines up so that they could both be in it.
That was good, because they were hilarious.
And his partner is like the guy there.
The guy with them, yeah. Okay, yeah. Because that was going to be my point was he trying to do a project that he's like, hey, something my kids could watch?
So this was actually in an Ellen interview.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
He lets his kids watch the show because he felt it was more family oriented and less dark than the books. But he hasn't read the books to them past the first one.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I was going to say, because I know some actors do that when they have kids, that they're like, oh, I want to do something my kids could watch, right?
Like Short Girl and Lava Boy?
Yes.
Did you see that?
No.
I did.
No, but you know what I mean, right? Is they want to do something that...
Even his kids write that.
Yes, I know.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Who's that? What's his name? Rodriguez?
Robert Rodriguez.
Didn't he do Machete too?
Yes.
Yeah. And then he was like, I've got a great idea. Let my kids direct them.
You gotta do something once in a while. Spy Kids was big, so they had to compete with that.
Yeah, I worked at the movie theater when that came out, and I had to screen it because no one else would. It was just me watching Shark Girl and Lava Boy by myself with the fucking shitty 3D glasses. Because it was before 3D, so I had the red-blue going on. Oh my god. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the plot because it didn't make any sense. It was like a fucking space whale.
Yeah, at least Spy Kids, the first one, made sense and had a plot.
I don't mind the Spy Kids movies. They're actually kind of funny. There's enough in it for adults that it's like entertaining.
Sure, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I was saying, I remember the first one, but I don't remember anything of the others or Shark Girl and Lava Boy.
And then didn't the girl from Spy Kids go on to do Repo the Genetic Opera? I think that's the same girl.
Possibly.
That was a good movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah, remember we watched it.
I don't remember anything, Dan.
Okay, fair enough. But you do remember the unfortunate events, which you also recommend.
Yes. Sorry, I'm off topic today.
That's what we do.
Hey everybody, let's talk about golf. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if there's any more we can say to praise it. We've talked about the costumes, the writing, the acting.
I
sets.
don't have anything negative to say except that I'd like more.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's over. No pun intended, but but it's like it was really well done. And
the most unfortunate part of the series is that it's over.
Yeah, no, but I'm glad that they did the 3 seasons and completed the whole arc.
Oh,
it just didn't end because like season 1 kind of ends where it's like it could have just ended.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they continued on and did 2 and 3 and finished the whole story in a sense.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you can find us on the internet. tomeofuselessness.com. We're also on Instagram where I have actually been posting.
Nice.
It's at Tome of Uselessness. And we're on Twitter where I've also been posting useless_tome. And now we have a Facebook page.
Oh crap, like us and
you can
follow us.
like our Facebook page. It's Tome of Uselessness. where I've also posted stuff.
Excellent.
I have been doing my job lately. As a social media
for our show.
Person. Is that it? Where else can they find it? Oh, like and review us on iTunes.
Sure, please.
Or we're on YouTube. I don't post anything there, but I'd like to.
Thanks for listening.
That's it. Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.